And we're live. It is Friday, November 21st, the year of our Lord 2025. It is 8 o'clock a.m. in Washington, D.C., in Toronto, where our guest is joining us, and even in the hotel room that Alicia Wanless is in Montreal. It is one of those days that, I just woke up at a deranged hour of the morning. I made myself one of these, and now I've made myself another one of these. I wrote a column, and it already feels like midday to me. And that's great because that means I am rearing to go and excited to talk to you all, and excited to talk to our guest about his new book. Hold it up. Alicia beat you to it. Yeah, there we go. The Next Civil War. And as I said yesterday, I always disclose, both in general and to a guest, when I haven't read the book yet. I haven't read this book yet. So I'm excited to talk to you about it blind. Um, and Let's just get through the pleasantries first. The sun is shining, which is not true in Washington. Actually, the birds are chirping. It's going to be a great fucking day. And you, and I mean you, are watching Dog Shirt TV, and it is a goddamn revolution in morning television. And I want to talk to you about two of the revolutionary features. Is one of the revolutionary features, because there are a bunch of them, is that sometimes, like yesterday, I do have to guilt Alicia Wanless into showing up, and I don't take pride in that. It's just something that sometimes,
Really? I think you do.
sometimes it's a matter of leadership you have to do. Um, um, but sometimes, like today, I don't have to guilt Alicia into showing up. She shows up willingly with a smile on her face, and her only complaint this morning is about Duolingo, which warmed my heart. Uh, Another one of the revolutionary features, which I just exhibited for you, is that I'll tell you when I haven't read the book yet. I'm behind in my reading. It's hard enough that I, um, you know, uh, got through Alicia's book and the fiction pairing, and then Holly's book and the fiction pairing, and then Laura Field's book in time for all the events that I have. And by the way, I haven't read Carol Lenig's book, and she's supposed to be on the Lawfare podcast soon. So, look, I'm going to tell you, because, like, I'm not, Joe Scarborough or something who's going to have a briefing paper on the book instead of, that's unfair to Joe. Joe's actually a good reader. But I mean, some television personality who has just been handed talking points on a book. I'm going to tell you when I haven't read the book. Today I haven't read the book, all of which is a 3-minute long-winded way of saying that we are not allowed to have fun anymore, but we are allowed to have Stephen Marche joining us from Toronto to talk about the next Civil War. So get us started, Stephen. Why do you go by Steve or Stephen?
I go by either. I've never cared. Some people really care. I don't. Either's fine with me. Although Steven's
Yeah, I'm
more
kind of the
common.
same about Ben and Benjamin. Everybody
Yeah,
calls me Ben, but I don't actually mind if people call me
yeah.
Benjamin.
Well, Benjamin's pretty damn formal. I mean, if you're calling someone Benjamin, it's
It
like
is. It's like
Benjamin, come
calling
here. We
somebody.
have to talk.
Well,
Yeah.
Steven's a little
sometimes
different. You know.
when Benjamin is guilting me, he deserves to be called by his full name.
Yes.
But
Benjamin would has come here right now.
yeah, yeah.
You
Well,
Exactly.
know.
I do think of Benjamin as, like, when
Yeah.
somebody calls me Benjamin, it does have the implication of it's my mother,
Yeah.
and there's a serious talk that we need to have.
Steven's not so much. It can really go either way.
Do you think that's a 3-syllable versus a 2-syllable
Definitely.
thing? Or is it because Alicia has 3 syllables
Yes, but I
too?
got my middle
Benjamin's
name
like a
thrown at me.
there's like proper, there's like Benjamin Franklin, but also it's like a half a rabbinical name.
Yeah,
You
I
know what
do
I mean?
think,
Like it sounds like it could be a rabbi if it's Benjamin.
or a Protestant minister,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
right.
Like, it has that quality of, it's like being named Ezekiel. Are you? Are
Yeah,
you
I
an
mean, I
Orthodox
think what
Jew
I should
or are
probably
you a
call you is
Puritan?
Benji, right? I mean, Benji's probably the right thing to call
That's
you,
the
right?
name
I
I
mean,
can't stand.
yeah,
There is this waitress at my local coffee shop who always calls me Benji, and
well,
I don't like.
well, that's
I
the move from the 18% tip to the 20% tip right there.
Yeah,
The
I mean,
waitress who will call
I
you
really
Benji.
don't like it, and I
Oh, you
notice
don't
it.
like it?
No, no, no. Benji
Yeah.
is a golden retriever.
I'm so glad we know this now.
Um, so how did you come as a Canadian to be writing a book about American civil wars?
Right.
Wait, hold on one second though. Can we give Stephen a proper introduction? Because
By
he's
all
much more
means.
fancy than you just. Okay, so first of all, everybody, please meet Stephen Marche, a fellow Canadian. That is not the most important part. This book he wrote in 2022. It is not his most recent book. He actually has another one that has been recommended to me as well, a novel. So he's written both nonfiction and fiction. And this one is very cool because it mixes both, along with interviews from experts to dissect or look through what may be the collapse of the US in practical terms, which I don't know why that entertains me so much, but it does. But his latest book, he actually collaborated with Andrew Yang, you people might remember from past presidential campaigns, the last election.
Did you move
And
forward?
Well,
sorry?
we move forward together.
Yeah,
I've never worked with a politician before, and it was very illuminating. But it was,
interesting.
I mean, it is. They are different. They're different worlds. But like, yeah, we can talk about that book after too. But that was a pretty fast. I got a pretty fascinating insight into how political campaigns actually work. Everyone was honest with me, and it was totally fascinating.
Wow.
Um, yeah, but yeah, thank you, Alicia. Is that? I mean,
That's it.
do you
I'm
have?
just saying we have
That's
a
it.
very cool
Okay,
guest today. That
right,
the intro rant was not sufficient in just outlining how cool he is.
You
right.
know, that is why I have co-hosts, people, because
Of course.
sometimes I just want to dive into things and it is the role of the co-host to say, wait a minute, Wittes, what about the fact that you haven't introduced the guest in any meaningful sense? And again, it's a revolution in morning television, and sometimes, the bodies will pile up in revolutionary
Why does
justice.
everything in America have to be a revolution, man?
Well, I
I
was
mean, like,
thinking
come
more
on.
more
Haven't you
French.
guys figured out this doesn't work? This
Yeah.
isn't like slow evolution is way, way better. Anyway, let's let's so the next civil war or the next revolution that's coming. Um, I mean, I wrote it because Canadian Magazine sent me down to cover the 2016 inauguration, the Trump inauguration, and I'm not particularly like a war reporter type. Um, like I'm not the person you send to Haiti or to Myanmar or whatever. And I found myself like standing on top of a limousine while it's lit on fire and jumping out of the way. And the whole scene had a real kind of like fall of Rome vibe, right? Like it had like there's just these like I guess you'd call them anarchists, but they're just like young people in black smashing windows. And then you had these like far right guys, and they're all with the DSLR Canon Rebel had just been released like in late 2015. So everyone had this one camera, and they were all pointing at each other. So in that chaos, I realized like well, I mean, the question was like every political expert I talked to kept being shocked. Like, oh, this is totally unprecedented. Oh, Trump got elected. We all get fired. Like, none of this makes any sense. He's going to destroy the Republican Party. Actually, not. Actually, so it was everyone constantly being shocked all the time. And so I was like, well, what the hell is actually going on here? Like, what is the actual underlying realities of American politics that are causing this to happen, and where are they going? And so for that, I started like basically I interviewed about 200 people for it. The main parts of the research were like Peace Research Institute of Oslo people who study civil wars and what causes civil wars, and America is a textbook case of a country headed towards a civil war for about 7 reasons. And then I also went and talked to white power people, far left people, because I look the way that I do, and I'm from Alberta. I can do a bit of an old boy, good old boy when I need to. They were very welcoming to me, and I sort of I got access to a lot of like white power people, three percenters, oath keepers, these sort of people. And that was the basis of the book. That sort of crossing America, talking to political extremists and the underlying research, and then I wrote the book out of that.
And what is the so when you say America is a textbook case of a country heading to civil war,
Hmm.
um, what are the factors that go into that judgment? Is it,
Right.
you know, um, we have a real history of civil conflict that you guys don't have, that has some regional components, it has
Yeah.
some ideological components, it has some, frankly, you were joking about revolution versus slow evolution, but it has some, revolutionary ethos components. There are a lot of times that you can look at the United States and say, wow, things seem to be heading in a really bad direction. And we do seem to have this uh, remarkable ability, with one huge exception, not to go there.
That's quite an exception.
It is quite an exception.
Like,
Um,
a third of the male population of South Carolina died in that exception.
yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
I do not mean to underestimate
yeah,
the magnitude of that exception. I
right.
do mean to say that, well, we can talk about it, but there seem to me some pretty big differences between that situation and what I call the situation.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess so. I'm curious what you think the indicators are that suggest this is the direction things are going, and how inevitable do you think that is?
Oh, nothing's inevitable, right? Like, especially with America, right? America is the country of drastic changes at the last minute. I mean, if anyone can get themselves out of this mess, it's America. I just don't see anyone trying to get out of the mess. Um, so the factors that like the term is a complex cascading system, right? So that's why things happen slowly and then very rapidly at once. It's absolutely not one thing. It's a combination of things. So the level of experts, like, even I talk to even like agricultural experts, military experts, people who are in institutions that you wouldn't, that are not just political, right? Like, it's not like the horse race politics in Washington was really of very little interest to me writing this book. Like, when I wrote the book with Andrew Yang, that was the focus on it. That's why I wrote the book with Andrew Yang, because I didn't really care about horse race politics in America before then. So I mean, here are the major factors, right? So there are a lot of environmental stressors, and they have consequences. The fires in LA would be a big example of that. But there's a whole bunch of factors that go into that, including food inflation costs. That's chapter 3. I mean, and so that's already starting to happen. But I mean, okay, I'll start from biggest to lowest. So the big one is that America's by 2040 is about to become a majority minority country. That's where it won't be more than 50% white. White people will be less than half of the country. Everywhere that
White
happens in the
people are
world.
such a stabilizing force that the
Well,
reduction in their percentage is real. I'm joking.
I mean, this is not actually a white people problem. Like, everywhere that this happens in the world, like there's the major study that came out of this was from India, where
Right.
because they have very good tracking of expenditures, they can literally tell, like, when Muslims, who are the sort of lower caste in India, when their spending reaches near parity with the Hindu majority, that's a direct cause of violence, right? Or rather, it's a direct correlate of violence. Like, so you have this, you have this reality in the sort of in the mix of it. You have also inequality. I mean, inequality in America is at levels that it has literally never seen before, right? Like the 1776 had nothing on the current moment. Like the 1920s had nothing on the current moment. That also is a major predictor for destruction. There's no real policy out for inequality. Like people who think Mamdani is going to make like the billionaires sweat in New York, you're kidding yourselves. Like billionaires get richer, everyone else gets poorer. The only solutions to this, what causes the end of this is mass destruction. Right, even when the communists come into power in Russia and China and so on, they just kill off the
Right.
prosperity. They don't
13 million people killed in the
yeah,
Russian Civil
like that.
War.
Their solution is not the impoverishment of their whole countries, right? That's
In
how they
fact,
deal
their
with inequality.
policy
Yeah,
was the liquidation of the
of
kulaks.
the kulaks and
Kulaks
so on.
being
That's the only. Those are the only real
moderately
solutions. So
prosperous
yeah,
family farmers.
yeah. Then you also have decline of trust in institutions. Which has been underway since the 1980s and is a sort of meta trend in America. It predates the internet even, right? So and that's a decline in trust in all institutions. So not just Congress and but the media, the church, the Boy Scouts, like literally all institutions are in institutional decline. Then you have hyperpartisanship, where you have essentially a spoils mentality towards national institutions. I mean, I don't think we need to explain that that's been accelerating for
No,
quite some
that's what
time.
the show is about.
Yeah,
So
I mean that's what that's what's
we're,
that's
we're
what's
good
like,
on that
like
one.
look at the news if you want to know what that's like. And then the real serious one, so like and then the kind of like those are all sort of underlying structures, but the one that's like civil war starts with this is when the legal system becomes hyperpartisan, and when people don't think that the legal system accurately reflects justice, and then it's just partisan hackery. And so when that happens, that's when you get situations like Chile. That's where you get situations like Africa. And America is a very diverse geographically, racially, religiously, conceptually. It is a very diverse country. So it is different in some ways than all these other cases. But on the other hand, it's just not different enough, right? And you can already see as America slides into anocracy, right, which is like the space in between autocracy and democracy. That's where real instability comes, and real instability has that's when violence, like autocracies are very stable, democracies are very stable. When you're in the in-between zone, that's when violence becomes normalized. And that I think frankly, when I wrote the book, which was like 2018, this was a projection, but I think you're there. I think you're in a space where violence has real meaningful political consequences, and is a way that politics is decided in America.
All right, so I want to ask the is Canada really different question. You
Yeah,
guys
Yeah, we're
are,
so much better.
yeah,
it's
much
so different.
so much better, so
Yeah,
different.
yeah,
And completely unable to resist trends started usually fewer than 20 miles south
yeah,
across the parallel. And so it seems to me that, you know, we have a January 6th. You guys have truckers in Ottawa. I can't remember if that was just before or just after.
yeah,
We have
Just after.
just after. Um, and so you guys are if I'm being praising about it, you guys are more resistant to these trends, but
yeah,
they do catch up with you eventually. Or if I'm being more mocking about it, you guys are late to the parties that we start. And
yeah,
so I guess I want to pose the question of whether, oh, one other thing, that there's no all the trends that you're describing in the United States are visible in Britain too. They're
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
visible in a bunch of Western European countries. And so, do you see this Civil War as an American thing, or
Yeah.
do you see it as a, you know, not only was Francis Fukuyama wrong thing, but he was diametrically wrong, and we are now heading into a, crisis of democracy wherein that is going to be fought violently across a variety of democratic countries, and we're really the leading edge of what is a kind of interdemocratic civil war.
Well, sort of both. Because first of all, the party is everywhere. And the party's been everywhere for a long time, right? Like there's a crisis in democracies around the world, right? And there's a line of populism versus um, institutions really that is fought. It's in Korea, it's in Japan, it's certainly in Canada, it's in America, it's all over Europe. It didn't start in America. It's a global trend that is that is not that's just a reality of democracies. It's not something that came from America and arrived in Europe, or came from America and arrived in Canada. It's always been there. Or the same forces work everywhere. What's different about America is, you brought up the revolutionary beginnings. That's not inconsequential. I mean, the number one factor determining whether there's going to be a military coup in a country is whether there's been a military coup in it before, right? So that's why a military coup in America is highly, highly unlikely. But civil wars, the number one predicate of civil wars in a country is whether you've had one before, right? And you've had really two, but probably three if you include the Whiskey Rebellion and sort of the War of 1812, which was kind of an aftershock of the Revolution, and those early struggles after the founding of the Republic, right? Like you are a
I
partisan.
don't think the Whiskey Rebellion amounts to
It
much.
doesn't
The
amount to
War
much,
of
but my point is
1812,
only there's little struggles here and there
right. The War of
over
1812 is plausibly understood to be a
yeah,
civil war. In
as
fact,
a
there's a wonderful history of it called The Civil War of
yeah, Alan
1812,
Taylor,
Alan
amazing
Taylor's
book.
book,
Amazing book, yeah.
which, but just to rib the Canadians about this, if you want to treat it as a civil war, you do kind of have to accept that we were one people at one point.
Oh, we were, but you
I mean,
guys
in that
went,
we were all British.
and so we were all British, right? I mean, I
I'm just,
did
I'm
We
just
can accept
saying,
that.
I'm just saying it can't be
yeah.
a civil
If you want,
war if
listen,
you
I mean,
guys
twenty
don't
percent
really
of
accept the
Americans say they
country.
want to separate their state and join Canada. Like that was in Newsweek last week. I mean, all you have to do is swell loyalty to the king. I mean, it's not complicated. But
Right. It's
the,
really the separating part that's
yeah, that's the problem, right? Like,
That's actually
but because like when you go to these right wing movements, like when you're with the three percenters or when you go and talk to far right people, like they're part. I don't even in the book try to describe the far right in America because it's so shiftable and uh, it's so movable that like you call a source like when you talk to him, he was a Boogaloo boy. Then he's gone on to be a three percenter, and like there's kind of smorgasbord of ideas they pick for. But what they all have in common is that they're anti government patriots, right? And I think that movement or that position really accounts for something like a third of Americans, right? Where they really consider it's this weird thing where they think destroying their own state is an act of patriotism, right? And that's because of the revolutionary principles of the country, right? And that you don't find that in Europe. So like if you look at someone like Maloney in Italy, like she governs, right? Like she's far right, but she wants the state to function,
right.
right?
She's
She wants
therefore co-optable by
yeah, I mean that's
bureaucracies
why
and
to call Trump and the crew a fascist movement is actually a mistake because fascists use the state as like they want the state to be as strong as it possibly can be to unify whatever ethnicity they want. And similarly the AfD in Germany, like none of these people are interested in destroying the state. Whereas in America, they think that if the government should just go away, right? And that truly is uniquely American. Like that's you don't find that in any other place in the world. And so it's
Not
much
even in
more
Alberta?
vulnerable to this stuff.
Not even in Alberta?
Well, in Alberta, I'm an Albertan.
Yeah, that's why I'm
Um,
asking.
yeah, I mean, Alberta is sort of the 13-year-old girl of Canadian Confederation. Like it's just always a hissy fit. I mean, and it's always been that way. Right, like it's been that way since the founding of the country, right? And so, I mean, I say this as an Albertan who loves Alberta deeply, but like, they're in like three separate constitutional crises right now. Their healthcare, they're incredibly poorly run as a government, and they and so it's a bit different. It certainly would not compare to, say, Texas or Oklahoma, right, where you have this kind of absolutely anti-government view of the world. I mean, Alberta can talk all at once. It's got gun control, it's got healthcare, everyone sends their kids to public
And
schools.
it's got this amazing 100-year war on rats that
Yeah.
requires a statism that is unthinkable in
Exactly.
any American state.
And
And by the
knapweed.
way,
We're knapweed
it's
free in Alberta.
successful. There are no rats in Alberta. It's
No.
amazing.
But
No. I
apparently
mean,
the rats
it's a
can't get
hard
across the
place to
mountains.
live. Like, I grew up there. It's all, it was -30 for 6 weeks the winter that I left. Like before I left, right? But yeah, I mean, the idea that it's not like if you would compare the government services you get in Alberta to the government services you get in Oklahoma, I mean, there really is no comparison, right? Like,
Although Calgary had a water problem there for a bit.
well, they went on an anti-fluoride kick, but then they solved it. Then they realized, oh wait, yeah, our kids have worse dental outcomes. We're putting fluoride back. So like reason did eventually triumph,
All
or
right.
the deep state, if you want to call it that.
I want to spend some time at the end of today's show challenging the premise here and making the case that uh, that we are better positioned to manage these tensions
The
than.
president yesterday called for the murder of all
Oh yeah, no, no,
politicians who don't. So I mean, I don't know how you're going to make
believe
that
me, I
argument.
do
Okay.
not understate the magnitude of the problem, but I do want to make the case that we have some resources here that you are undervaluing. But before I
Like
do
what?
that,
Like
but
what?
before
Like
I do that, I want to turn things over to Alicia because I am aware that I could eat up the remaining half hour and much more than that, and she would never get a chance to ask any questions or make any points. So I am going to give her that before, just save me 10 minutes at the end.
I'm
I don't
glad
know.
I'm using my coronation cup here. I bought this at the coronation of King Charles III. I just
Yeah,
want
But
to
well,
I'm
point
not.
that out.
I just want to point out that, like, there is, both in our chat, which we call the Greek chorus, and more generally in American society, there is no appetite for monarchy. Like, from the far left to the far right,
Except you
like,
have a king in power right
no,
now.
no, I'm
Like
just saying,
you've got a pirate
when
king
you
ruling
hold
you,
up that
killing.
mug, you
You've got
are
you've got
you
a
are
pirate king raping your children
you are
and using the military as a
alienating
personal force.
you
Like
are
you
alienating.
think you're above kings?
I'm
Like get
not.
your king under
I,
control.
I'm not saying we are above kings. I am saying the language of kingship is not something that's going to resonate here. So, hold it with the just swear loyalty to the king
Yes.
and the mug stuff, because I
Well,
don't.
that's
You're
the
not going
big
to win
difference.
any converts that
The
way.
reason Canada
No,
works and America
no. The
doesn't is
chat
that
is
you're
turning in
citizens and I'm a
Stephen's favor.
subject. I'm a subject to the crown, right? It's a very different thing. But
Yeah,
anyway,
no, and I'm just saying, like, I can go with you a long way on this, but the
right.
whole king thing, I'm gonna that's where I jump off the board. Anyway, Alicia, the floor is yours.
I mean, I'm not even gonna ask questions. I'm going to pull from Stephen's book to argue with you, against you, Ben, about why Canada is actually better fit for withstanding these problems. But also the king. I think the chat is leaning towards a king right now. At least our king knows how to behave like a modern monarch, unlike
Our king is powerless.
yeah,
He's a
as
little
they should
worm
be.
that we like he doesn't matter. Like he is literally not entitled to an opinion. That's how you want your kings. You have a king, but you just hold him by the throat. And he literally can't even have an opinion about architecture or gardening. Like he's not allowed to. I mean, that's how that's a better system. Well, the top 10 most stable countries in the world are all parliamentary democracies. They're all monarchies. Thailand, the countries in Asia
Wait,
that
Thailand
survived.
has
Except for
coups.
Thailand.
Dude,
Thailand's
Yeah.
not doing so well.
Well,
Bad
Thailand.
example
I mean,
for
we're
your
talking
kids.
stability in the region, but
Right.
like
But also, if you can't criticize your
Japan.
king, there's a problem here. Like, I mean, we have freedom of speech. We can say we don't even want the king and nothing happens to us. There's a lot of Canadians who don't want the king or the
No.
monarchy. However, the one argument that my husband has made several times is that without the king, we probably would be America because we would have lost the War of 1812, which again, we are
Yeah.
the single victors because we're not America. But in all seriousness, Ben, one of the key reasons why I think that we would be able to withstand this and not disintegrate into civil war in Canada is that we actually have a legal means and a process for how a province would secede, which you do not.
yeah, yeah.
He's gone. He left us.
He was so upset. Typical Americans. You get into an argument, they just, I'm declaring independence. I'm moving away. I don't need your debate.
I mean, this is amazing because of every morning. I mean, he's muted now. It's even better. So when nobody shows up
Sorry,
to
I was
co-host with
here.
him,
I was
he
just
has a
rescuing
rant.
this from the puppy. I know you want my puppy to choke on things and die, but I don't. And I know you guys hate puppies, and
Wow.
but
Well, we love
I
puppies.
I
don't.
love my puppy, and I don't want her to die. And so I rescued this from her, and I was listening the whole time,
Yeah.
and you're using it against me.
Nope.
Real quick, Japan is not a parliamentary monarchy. It is not a monarchy of any kind. The emperor is a symbol. He's the flag.
Oh, so is Charles. Charles has no power.
No, 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 no. He is the flag. Charles has putative power.
No.
Right?
No.
He's
he
a
does-
king.
He is literally not in, he can form parliament or not. That's it. And
Exactly.
he literally obeys. He literally obeys. There's no actual.
But what I'm saying
doesn't
is,
make
it
a
is
decision.
not the emperor who forms parliament or not even formally, not even as a rubber stamp. He doesn't even have a rubber stamp.
But the point is, in Canada, the symbol of the country is this random guy, just like this, or this random lady. Queen
All I'm
Elizabeth,
doing
right?
is talking about Japan.
Well, Japan is the same thing. They have this symbol, like the president. We don't have a president. The president is an icon of like who America is. We don't elect people to represent the country. We elect servants who serve the crown. Just as in Japan, they serve the emperor.
No,
Right.
they don't.
And they're
That's
all
my
servants.
point. They
Yeah.
do not. They do not.
They serve the
Well,
emperor.
No, they
No,
do not.
They actually don't.
No, they do not. Not
It
since
is
the second,
It is,
not since the new constitution.
it is
They
a
do
wholly
not.
extrinsic institution to all
Right.
of government.
The point is the national
Completely
symbolism gets
extrinsic.
removed from the political process. That's what's essential.
But anyway, you're.
I'm done. I'm
Carol,
done. I'm
your
just
point-
saying it's not even, there's nothing there. That's
Your,
all.
your point is well taken, but Alicia was explaining why I'm wrong.
Sorry, I don't mean to upset Carol. I was just looking at the government of Japan's website, and it does seem like the emperor performs a similar role that the king does in Canada, which is to say it's kind of like a nominal
It's a figurehead.
figurehead, I think is what Stephen meant. It looks very similar to what
When we
have. I
elect
mean,
a prime minister, it is not electing an icon for the country. It's
No,
not
but-
like electing. We're
but
we're in
who
the Bill Clinton
notionally
years.
appoints
We're in
the
the
Canadian
Obama
prime-
years. We're in the Trump years.
Who
It's like-
notionally appoints the Canadian prime minister?
Yeah, but he has no choice in it.
That,
Yeah.
that's not, but
Yeah.
notionally, formally,
Yeah,
the king appoints the prime minister.
And the king is
But
not allowed in
it's the
parliament.
same thing with Japan. It says with the advice and approval of the cabinet,
Right.
Is that
right?
right?
Which is what we.
Yeah.
All
That's
right.
that's what it is.
We are not going to go off on Japanese constitutional law right now. But
Although the white power people are very interested in the Japanese constitution. They talk about it a lot. When they talk about how they're going to have a white ethno state in the Midwest, in Northeast, they mention the Japanese constitution a lot.
well, good
That's
for them.
really ironic.
Oh yeah, there's nothing better than a Nazi who really knows international law. It's truly terrifying.
I think we should stop
But-
talking about Japan because Carol's really like
All right,
this is far
we're not
too
going off on a
far
Japan
too-
argument here. We can do that a different day. Alicia, you were saying.
I was saying that one of the reasons why we wouldn't necessarily fall apart like in a violent way, aside from the guns. I mean, okay, let's just start there. We don't have the level of weaponry that your citizens have, which I think can lead to increased
But we
violence
can
and
help
instability
you with that.
faster.
We're,
No, we
number
don't.
4 in the world.
We
We're-
can
we're
get
heavily
you
armed.
whatever weapons you need.
Not
and
like the
realistically, you're not going to... If Canadians want weapons and we want to supply them, no government of Canada is going to be able to keep them out.
Oh no, we're trying. It's a hard battle, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're-
getting the guns off the streets that are
You're going
flood
to
from
lose
America
that.
into
If
Toronto, it's a
Canadians want to
nightmare.
be armed to kill other Canadians, you guys are not going to be able to. We will air.
Oh no, we stop
for
it.
you.
We've stopped it, but you know, you have to like it's like the drug wars. I mean, it's like constantly. But you know, American violence has always bled over the border.
Right,
Right,
but
like-
I'm saying if you're imagining pervasive political violence in the United States in which
Yeah.
Canadians are allying on one side or the other, the idea that the Canadian government is going to stop weapons is going to be able to stop you guys from being able to acquire weapons from us and us from being able to provide weapons to you, don't kid yourself.
No, I think you're dead wrong. I mean, I think you've gotten used to having a government that doesn't function. Lots of governments actually can stop lots of things. Yeah, I mean, American
what
governments
is
are
the
amazing.
product-
If American government declares war on something, war on drugs, war on poverty, war on Islamic terrorism,
War on
whatever,
everything.
you
You
can
guys
be
just
sure
war.
that whatever they declare war on is going to get way stronger, right? Like, that's not the way it is in other countries. Like, other countries actually can enact policy.
I think you are-
and stop things.
You are deluding yourself.
No, it's known. Like
No.
we first of all, we're a heavily armed country. Like all my uncles own guns, right? But like they're like we're a hunting farm. We're a huge country, right? Like
Right.
everyone who lives on an acreage in this country owns a 22. It's just you have to register it. It's not complicated. It's like having a motorcycle. Like you just have to pass a test and get the gun.
I understand the way Canadian gun control works. I really do. But you're now positing something different, which is that in an environment in which Americans are actually in one form or another of shooting war with each other, and
Yeah.
there's potential spillover into Canada across a
But that's okay,
3,000
but that wasn't what my original argument was before you turned off your screen. One is just like we actually have a process for provinces to secede. Like
Yes,
there
that's
is
true.
it's outlined, it's been tested, there is a path for it. I did not know this, and maybe you're going to argue otherwise, Ben, because you are the legal expert, not I. But you don't actually have that codified in the U.S. for
opposite.
states to secede.
Correct. In fact, we have a
14th Amendment.
150-year-old precedent that we will
Yeah.
kill 750,000 people to prevent a state from seceding.
Yeah. Although the third section has been like the 14th Amendment is coming under some pressure. Would you not agree? I mean, section 3 has essentially been invalidated by the Supreme
No,
Court.
but the non-secession principle is not
Yeah.
a creature of the 14th Amendment.
That's
It's a
that
creature
chapter
of
5 in the
law.
book is like if you go like there's I had like the constitutionality. There's no legal expert. Usually I do like this guy says this guy says
No,
that. This time
the Union is a lobster trap in a way
Yeah,
that is
that's
not
right.
true of Canada.
or any other country. Yeah.
There are some other
Well,
countries.
Like
Try to
Czechoslovakia,
secede
for
from
instance, when it
France.
separated, like it had a
From
mechanism
France, Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to secede from
from Spain.
There are a lot of countries, they tend to be nation states that
Yeah.
don't have secession. I don't know what Australia's rules are,
Yeah.
but I think there's a. But look, if your point is Canada has an off ramp, the United States doesn't. That is absolutely right.
Yeah. And that's why we've had a separatist movement for, since the 60s with really one act of violence in it the entire time. Right? Because there is a legal and democratic method to secession. I mean, I think eventually America is going to get to the point where, I mean, it's already in a state of real soft secession. Like, I mean, you have blue states already forming their own health organizations. You have, essentially red states and blue states have their own legal teams that are working together. I mean, I think it's almost, I think it's incipient. I mean, probably not underway, but I mean, I don't know what other solution there is. Like, it seems to me like the only way out of this without massive bloodshed
Is what?
secession, like breaking up the country. I don't think America works as a whole country. I think it would be vastly happier, much more. I mean, it would be much more successful if it were four massive countries, right? Or those economies would be absolutely huge, right? Texas could work as a country today, right? And so could California, right? If California started today, it'd be the fifth biggest country in the world. It would be Japan. Needless to say, this would also make life a lot easier for Canada. But I mean, I think it's already underway. I think it's not, you're already like a woman moving from one part of America to another, even by county level, has different rights and different responsibilities in different places in the country, right? Like it's not like there is no unified legal status for a citizen in America.
Nor has there ever been,
Nor has there ever been, but
or does the country aspire to have one? So that's
right. That's
and by the way, that is not true of Canada either.
Well,
it's just that it doesn't.
The charter applies to the whole.
Yeah, well, the Bill of
country.
Rights applies to the whole country too.
Yeah, I guess so. I just find the constitutional order is falling apart anyway. So it's like it's not like the Charter of Rights and Freedoms was written in 1982. It's written in plain language that anyone can understand. It's not.
Yeah. But and yet you guys have tensions over language rights that we don't have.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
so
no, Canada's
like,
nearly broken up twice in my life.
There's
right.
If you focus on the areas that Americans are at odds with each other about, there is a very compelling case that there's a lot of them. If you focus on areas that the country works well, it does produce more economic growth than the rest of the industrialized world.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of areas where the country is functional in ways that the rest of the world, including the rest of the world that supposedly outcompetes us in a number of areas, simply doesn't. Look at economic performance in the wake of COVID as only a single example. Anyway, I do want
the juicing of the economy during that period is pretty intense.
Because I want to save my "Don't Give Up on America Quite Yet" rant for the end of the show.
It's like, I don't know. I mean, you guys are just having such the debate here. I'm kind of tempted to leave it and watch it. I mean, this is like 8 a.m. in the morning, and it's not usually this volatile.
Well, it's not usual that we have a debate over the functioning future capacity of the country. So, I mean, it's
right.
Usually we're talking about Tokugawa Japan or
don't bring Japan up again.
Why I Hate Duolingo or or Mike Feinberg's horror movie and your horror movie preferences.
Right. And that was a debate, but it wasn't, I mean, that was a matter of taste. So
did you guys see A24 Civil War?
And Feinberg isn't here.
Did you see A24 Civil War? Did you see that movie?
I don't watch movies and I don't watch television anymore.
You don't watch movies?
I have not watched anything in like 2.5 years. The last maybe more. The last time I watched anything was when I was in Quebec City, and uh, Tammy and I watched I don't even remember what show it was, and I realized halfway through an episode of it that I had no desire to be watching this. And it wasn't about this, it was about anything. And I have not watched anything on television except electoral returns or on any screen since
Jesus.
then. Um, and I'm much more productive as a result of
Well,
That's
I
probably
mean,
true. Yeah.
productive, fine, but like, don't we want to live here? I mean, what are you gonna say next? Like, I haven't eaten I haven't, I've only eaten, porridge for like 3 years.
I
I
can't
mean,
eat
like,
porridge.
you don't go to the
It's not good for
movies.
my blood sugar. I
I
don't eat.
mean,
No, I'm sorry. It's just,
Ben.
you're explaining to me the nature of the crisis that I'm in,
right.
and at the
Well,
same time telling me I should live my life as though there were not a crisis
Or like
surrounding
live like
me.
there's no tomorrow because there is.
Yeah,
oh,
and
you have to live.
I'm
I mean,
telling
if you're
you,
not going to live because there's a crisis, I
I
mean,
accept your first point in enough not to be interested in fictional cultural product.
boy, veh.
Um,
Okay.
Alicia, you were
I'm going to bring
saying.
it back to the book. So, this book was actually sitting on my bookshelf behind me for like at least a couple of years, and I hadn't picked it up and read it. I don't even know where I got it, but when I came to it, which was I think over the summer, I saw it sitting there and I was like, I really need to read this. And then I dug in, and I'm pretty sure I was just reading it either before Charlie Kirk's assassination, but
Right.
around that time. And so one of the things that, of the many things that stood out in here, was the chapter on the disenfranchised. I don't know how do we describe this, the
Yeah.
disaffected young male stereotype, it's not stereotype,
Stochastic
but archetype.
terrorists.
Right,
Stochastic
exactly.
terrorism, yeah.
So I was just wondering, because I mean, Ben hasn't read the book, so I think
Yeah.
instead of us picking on Ben,
In
perhaps
fact,
you.
I didn't even realize that the book wasn't new. Alicia said, "Hey, there's this
It was
book."
new to me.
Well, I did, yeah. So
It
I
keeps
thought
coming
this
up. I
was,
mean, I keep doing these talks. They
I
keep
thought
having,
this was
I
a
mean, because
book
it
that
keeps
had
being
just
more
come out.
relevant. It's
It
upsetting.
isn't, and it was so prescient. That's the other
Yeah.
thing, is that written
The
in
experts really
2022.
got it that time. The expert, I mean, I'm just synthesizing these models, right? Like, but the experts I talked to, I mean, they really had it down to a T, didn't they? Like,
So
they just knew what was going to happen. Like, it's kind of unbelievable how close they were to how it works, you know,
across so many things, right? Because
across so many things. Yeah.
like the increasing the price, the price of food, how
Yeah.
things would split, like what kind of would be the triggers and things that you couldn't necessarily control. But one
Yeah.
thing, because of everything that happened with Charlie Kirk, and at the time, and I think they still haven't really determined what his motive was, and there
Yeah.
was a lot of speculation about it. But what it really did sound like was he sounded like the kind of guy that you were describing in the book. So just walk us
100%.
through, stochastic
Well,
terrorism.
it was these guys, like, so there's this group of people that are, what they do is they predict assassinations, right? And they partly it's talking to the Secret Service, because they've been working on, that's their job. I mean, it cost, well, when I did the book, it probably has gone up, but at the time the United States was spending $1 million a day to keep the president alive, right? Like, and the Secret Service are super serious guys, right? Like, they feel perfectly confident in the security of the president no matter what situation they're in. But with stochastic terrorism, you're not dealing with it's not like some group that has some political ideology that creates that sends out terrorists to do whatever. It's just people who radicalize online in this climate of hyperpartisanship and decide that the only way to save the republic is to kill somebody, right? And what are the predictive, like, how do you predict that when essentially, the number of death threats that are coming into people of all levels of American society? I mean, they have to give protection now to like 11th court, circuit court judges and stuff, right? Like, really, judges who are not really powerful figures, they get their own security details now too, right? So there is this, and so the predictive capacities. What's this guy's name? Raymond Spige, I think. He was the guy who did who let me in on the work because he'd retired. And it's disaffected young men who have a sense of meaninglessness. One of the big predictors that they use when they're analyzing is like, have they emptied their bank accounts? Have they started giving away things? They're almost all white men. I mean, they're just like, that's just almost all of them. And yeah, but I mean, the predicting the assassination is less interesting to me than like that the fact that they got how the assassination would be received so accurately. Like they just got like it just creates these two information systems worlds that sort of separate off from each other almost instantly, right? I mean, that's why I think when the Epstein files come out and like no matter how bad they are, it won't really matter because like the information network systems that will just create different realities out of it, and that'll be that, right? Like, and it'll just be back to the same hyper partisan talk. I mean, you can already see it being prepared. 15-year-old girl is not an 8-year-old girl, this kind of thing. Like you can already see it being manipulated, and eventually they'll get to the point where it's like, well, it's all of them, so we may as well have our guy. I mean, I don't think there is like an event that could happen that would be a wake-up call to the American people, whether it's an assassination or whatever. Like the information networks are just now too divided and too quick to just dissolve fact into this slew of opinion, right? So it is a like I am amazed at how accurate they were. Right. I mean, like, and that's not me, but like the people I were talking to were, the mainstream guys. It's not like I found some outlier in this space, but yeah, they really had it down to a T. They knew just how it would play out.
All right. So I am going to give you my counter thesis here.
Okay.
And the thesis is, just to be clear, I'm not saying that all the effects that you're describing aren't real.
Yeah.
And I am not saying that they will not produce the outcome that you are expecting. I want to suggest that the American experience has more tools to deal with this set of problems than you are allowing. And the first of them is the fact that we've been dealing with this problem actually since the beginning of the Republic. This is, in fact, the problem that gave rise to Federalist 10, right? Which is, can you prevent fractious hyperpoliticization from taking over a republic, and what is the role of a big rather than small republic in doing that? And it is true that there are these exceptions, the most dramatic of which is the Civil War. I would say the War of 1812 is actually a bad example because it really was fundamentally a battle between the United States and the Crown over a variety of questions.
The original Manifest Destiny.
Yeah.
Well,
citizenship too.
As well
the status
as
of a citizen.
As well as whether, maritime whether Britain would continue to exercise maritime supremacy over the United States. But it is fair to say that we have had spasms of political violence, the Civil War being the extreme case, but we have tolerated many more assassinations than you guys would have. When you talk about an assassination as though it's sort of the end of civilization, I remind you that,
Oh no, in the book, like, it's 1 out of 4 presidents, it's 11, 1 out of 11 presidents have been assassinated.
When I was a kid, we all expected Ronald Reagan to be assassinated because
you already have high levels of political violence.
Because no Republican who'd been elected in a year ending in 0 had ever not been assassinated.
Right.
And that was in fact, I think every president, Kennedy, you can go through, like, we kill
A Secret Service agent told me assassination is part of the political process here.
yeah.
That's what he
Um,
told me.
and look, and Ben Franklin said the purpose of the impeachment process is to prevent assassinations.
Right.
And the impeachment process doesn't work very well. It follows that we're going to, have some more assassinations as a result of that. I don't approve of political violence, and I'm against it.
Yeah.
But observing that a certain level of political violence exists in the society is not, in my judgment, the same thing as saying that the society is, doomed to consume itself in civil war. And I will point out that the levels of political violence in the United States right now are dramatically lower than they were in the late 60s and early 70s.
No, it's not true. But anyway, go on. No. It's a how you register the metric of it. But no. The political violence right now is off way higher than the late 60s.
Suspect it
Yeah.
may depend on your on
Oh,
definition.
there's a great deal of difficulties of definition, but even if no, the metric is totally, it's way higher than in the late 60s. But anyway,
Well, let's just say domestic terrorism is much
the
lower.
assassinations are less spectacular. There's no Martin Luther King Jr. getting assassinated, but the actual, like, the level of violence against, like, police figures and things like this, way higher. And politically motivated, like, way higher.
So
CDC assassinations, things like this, way higher.
So I will say, there are three things that make me more confident than you. And again, not confident,
Right.
but more confident. One is exactly the issue that Alicia flagged earlier as part of the problem. We don't have an escape valve. You can say we'd all be happier if there were 4 countries, but we're not going to let that happen. And there is a blood oath commitment to that is pretty cross-partisan. No, nobody in Texas is saying that California should be allowed to secede. Sometimes they say
50%
they
of
should be allowed
Republicans,
to succeed.
yeah.
But no one's willing to let other people succeed as a general pattern. And so when you have that blood oath, you do have a certain there is, and I know you can find a 1,000, 100,000 exceptions to this, but there is some degree of working understanding that we do have to live in the same country together. And I understand that there are a gazillion dissenters from that, but it is not obvious to me that the heckler's veto on that is ultimately real. Number two, so that's thing number one, which is I actually do think people do believe we have to live together. And number two, foreign actors intercede to unify us on a semi-regular basis. All of this division would have happened a lot earlier if not for 9/11. And 9/11 bought a certain amount of somewhat artificial but very real unity that persisted for, it spiked and then it began this long, slow trail off. But part of the nature of being the United States is that you have these, some of them chosen very irresponsibly by us, some of them imposed on us. You do have these engagements with the rest of the world that cause Americans to come together. I actually do believe that the world sufficiently needs American power that when America withdraws from that, it asks for it in a way that brings us back.
The world, you're threatening to invade Nigeria and us. American power in the world is over. Like we don't, and you're about, you say 9/11 was a unifying event. Like the wars that you fought, you have 20 million veterans of lost wars in your country. That's one of the major destabilizing factors, right? Like you're about to go to war to Venezuela. If you do, you will lose, as you've lost them all before. Like, and when you do, it will be incredibly destabilizing to your country yet again. Like you, like Denmark and Finland and Sweden, they are unified because they have Russia right over there that's threatening to attack them. You have nothing like that. You go on foreign adventures. You go on foreign adventures where they're wars of choice that that you get essentially your political class talks the military into doing and then doesn't allow the military to win, right? It's incredibly destabilizing. I
So
mean, that's a whole other factor
so
that
so I
like
actually I agree with you a lot about a lot of the individual cases here, but I think you're completely missing my point about the effect on America.
listen,
Um,
I don't see any unity in America at all. I mean, I don't know where, I
yeah,
don't know
but you
where
don't
you
live
go to
here.
find it. Like where,
But you
you go
don't
there,
live
it's
here.
angry.
He
Like it's
has.
you have.
No, Stephen, you've lived in the U.S.
Oh yeah, I lived in
Yeah,
the
but
U.S. I
I'm
taught in
just
New
saying
York.
if you don't see any unity here, it's because you don't live here. I'm involved on a day-to-day basis in some of the major divisions in the United States, and I see a lot of unity in the United States.
Oh
A lot.
well,
My cabin in the woods is in a 70% Trump district. Um, and people know who I am. Um, and it's fine. It's lovely.
they haven't killed you yet.
But okay,
Like
hold on, Stephen. Let's let
yeah,
Ben end the show on a positive note.
Um, I
I feel very positively about America, by the way. Just so we're all
well, no,
clear.
I'm not defensive. Just to be
Yeah.
clear, I will give you a very simple prediction, and this will be a test case of who is right and who is wrong about this point. Okay,
Okay.
in the next X years, Russia will attack a country in Eastern Europe, and there will be a question as to whether the United States will defend that country. Do we agree so
Yeah.
far?
No one in Europe. I mean, the reason we're rearming at an alarming rate because we're probably going to become a nuclear power because we feel threatened by you.
I understand that there is a crisis
You're
of
threatening
confidence
to
in
attack
American.
Greenland. Like you might be the ones
But
attacking a
he's not.
European power.
He's
No,
not.
you know, just understand that I'm not making any comments about U.S. policy right now.
Right.
Lord knows I am not a defender of any aspects of current U.S. policy. There will come a point where, whether it's Estonia, whether it's Poland, whether
Yeah.
it's Finland, uh, the Russians are going to attack one of these countries. That's
Yeah.
what this whole Ukraine war is about, or it's part of
Absolutely.
what it's about. When that happens, there will be a need for significant U.S. engagement.
No.
Or,
They'll just go
no?
to Germany and Sweden. Yeah.
You think Germany and Sweden are in a position to hold
They're
off?
industrializing, they're militarizing and industrializing at the
Ask a
fastest clip they
German
can.
ask a German
America might
defense
supply
analyst about
weapons.
that.
I mean, that's what America's good at, supplying weapons for other people to fight.
Okay. All I'm saying is there will come a point where this will happen and the US will get engaged. And the reason it will get engaged is because that will be a unifying thing domestically.
I mean,
And
I pray you're right.
I think you are understating the degree to which the degree to which that sort of thing actually matters to the U.S. ability to hold itself together. We're gonna wrap, but I want to make the third point, which is the United States. We don't like each other very much.
Yeah.
And by the way, that has always been true. We are a country that is built on not liking each other very much. And that is super, super uncomfortable for people to watch when they come from countries where people actually do like each other and feel real strong bonds of social cohesion. We don't feel that. We don't like each other very much. We're big. We're big, we're dense, and we're composed, and we're super, super diverse. You guys are pretty diverse, but not like
Yeah.
we are.
No, no one compares to American diversity.
And we are actually pretty good at hating each other. And people
Clearly.
constantly understate or constantly overstate the consequences of the degrees of our distaste for each other. And so I just want to submit that one thing we are exceptionally good at is hating each other. It means we can't give each other health care. We don't, universal daycare. We're not going to do that because people we don't like are going to benefit from it. But we're pretty good at not destroying the country over hating each other. Am I confident that we're going to do that again? No.
Right.
Am I more confident about it than you are? Yeah.
Well, I hope America America could find its way out. It has found its way out of a lot of jams, as you said. But I would just point out that no one is trying. Like no one is actually trying. Like you could, if you want to make your politics sane overnight, just have open primaries. It'll a vast amount of sanity will flow. I mean, they saw it in Alaska. It worked overnight.
Yeah, it definitely helps.
It worked overnight, but no one's willing to do it. Right. So if you're not willing to get out of the way of the train that's coming to
Alaska
you, the train is going to
willing
hit you.
Do it. Different states are willing to do
Yeah.
it.
I mean,
California
listen,
did it.
if anyone can fix this, it's America. I just don't see them trying.
We're going to leave it there, folks.
Okay.
Stephen, great to meet you. Come back anytime. That link you used to get on.
It's nothing like having a fight over coffee. It's fun.
We'll just magic you up on screen anytime. And you can come whenever you want. You don't even have to announce.
Book club.
Yes, read the book this time. You're not watching movies, so you have to read the book. I mean, if you're not watching movies...
Wait, Stephen.
I will read this book. But here's the thing. You have to come back. You have to give a fiction pairing with this book.
No, it's half fiction, half non.
No.
It is its own pairing. It is its own
That's
pairing.
a good point.
It's true.
Yes.
It is true. It is its own pairing.
Okay, so we're gonna do this book. We're gonna put it on the Make America Read Again book club agenda. It's going to be one without a wine pairing, because it's its own fiction.
It's 2 in
wine
1.
pairing. And we're gonna schedule a time for you to come back and talk with an actually with a readership
informed
that's
audience.
actually read it.
Great. That'll be new. That'll be terrific.
Folks, we're going to be back on Monday. I don't know who the co-hosts are going to be. I don't know who the guest is going to be. Maybe Alicia will show up. Maybe she'll be too resentful because I'll have guilted her about something. But you'll be there. I'll be there, and it'll be a blast.
Okay.